So for this video, I want to talk about the specifics for your game and setting up the project. Remember, download just the information based on the game that I'm giving you. For mine, I'm using concentration as the example, but yours will be set up the same way for whatever game that you have. We already talked about the project package design information. Next, look at your project details page. It should look something like this. In this is telling you exactly what I'm looking for the setup and design of your game. Now this is a Microsoft Word document. Let's see if I can zoom in so we can see it. There we go. In my case, my game is concentration. Now, if you've never played concentration before, the first thing you have to do is get an understanding for how your game is played. Right here, I'm giving you a brief description of how to play the game. But if you want to watch your game being played, I've given you a YouTube video that you can go to and watch so that you get an idea of how the game can be played and you can familiarize yourself, because that's the game that you are designing. So your game may be different from concentration, but you need to get an understanding for the design of it. Next, I'm talking about the design of your overall thing. The theme is going to be different for your cards. In my case, my cards, your client wants the theme to be that of cakes and cookies. So each suit of cards needs to have a picture of different kinds of sweets, cakes and cookies. Cookies, donuts, cupcakes, and pie. I'm going to provide you with some inspiration images that you can draw from, you can trace over, you can start out. However, I want to see your designs. You're encouraged to create your own version of whatever theme that I give you. Each suit needs to be colorful and detailed. Remember, you're trying to appeal to a younger audience. So instead of having diamonds, clubs, hearts, and what's the other one? Whatever the other one is. Instead of the traditional set, yours is going to have 4 different cards that fits the theme that's been given to you. It still needs to have number cards, 2 through 10, ace cards, and face cards. So instead of having a 2 of diamonds, you've got a 2 of cookies. Instead of having a king, queen, and jack of hearts, you've got a king, queen, and jack of donuts and cupcakes and pie, so on and so forth. So that's the theme of your design. Pay close attention to that and try to think on things that you can work through from this. Now, hold on to that because I'm going to give you an out if you want to be a little bit more creative with this. Now, the name concentration must appear on the back of each of the cards that you have. So when we start to design the back design of your cards, be thinking about how you want to place the title of your game within that card. Now the box, I'm going to give you a choice of boxes that you can pick and choose from. Of course, the style of your cards has to match the same style and theme of your box. And so both the box and the cards have to have the same look. Before printing your box, we're going to do a mock-up. Now this is if time permits. Once we come back to school, I'm going to show you how to print these off, and we're actually going to make a working mock-up to make sure that your design works out well. And then finally, you're going to design some instructions that go along with your package of your game. These instructions give step-by-step on how to set up your game and play your game. And so it's very important that it fit nice and neatly within one particular page. It's not going to be a booklet, just one page that's going to be folded down 3x3 style. And the layout of your instructions, of course, needs to be easily readable and fit the theme and style of your package and your cards. Now, going back up to the theme. Your client is asking you to do the theme of cakes and cookies. If you don't want to do this, go to our Moodle page. Let me show you this. I'm going to give you an out. If you want to, I'm going to give you until the end of class on Wednesday, March 25th, to select your own theme for your cards or to modify the rules or the name of your cards. So if you don't want to call your name concentration, you think that's kind of a boring kind of name. Let's say you want to call it mix match. That's another name that you can give it. You can change the name of your game. So you can call it Mix Match. I'm okay with that. It's the same game, as long as you're going with that. Or if you find another way of playing your card game, you want to change up the rules just slightly, I'm okay with that as well. Finally, if you want to change the theme of your cards, as long as it appeals to a younger generation, I will let you do that. Just make sure that it's appropriate for them. So if you want to do, instead of cakes and cookies as your theme, if you want to do animals, or if you want to do space, or if you want to do dinosaurs, anything like that, I will let you do that and change up the theme for your cards. But you have to have not a traditional set. You may not do diamonds, spades, clubs, and hearts. It has to be something that fits a new theme. Be unique. Show me your ideas. Show me sketches. Give me photographic research. Sell me on the idea of the theme that you have. Also, the game rules must be, the game still has to be the same. So you may not alter it or play a different game. You can change the rules slightly, but it still has to be essentially the same game. And again, you've got till March the 25th, the end of class, to pitch me your idea and to tell me what you would like to change it to. Otherwise, you have to be stuck with the theme that I give you and the theme and the rules that your client is expecting. Okay, so that's found under the project details. Familiarize yourself with how the game is played. Be researching and be thinking about how can you make a set of cards that's based on these designs, and then be looking at the different box choices and the inspiration images. By the way, here's the inspiration images. So I've given you a set of cookies. These are photographs. If you had to make cartoons out of these cookies, what would they look like? Or here's cupcakes, or here's donuts. These are just meant to be inspiration. They're not plain, boring style designs for them. These are really dynamic. They look really good. They're the kind of things that you can easily draw from. But it needs to fit the theme, and it needs to be the kind of thing that you can take and use. Finally, here are your box choices. And I'm giving you the layout for the template and a picture of what it looks like. I'm sorry, I know it looks really, really small right now. Oops, if I can make it a little bit bigger. The 3 different boxes, this is a little flip box. You can see how the cards fit inside of it, and it flips open. Another style of box is just kind of a traditional box. We'll see if we make it bigger. This has a top and a bottom, and it opens up. And then finally, here's one that's more of a what's it called? A tray box. So it's got a box that slides out and your cards are inside of this. Now, if we do a Zoom session, I'm going to try to have the examples to be able to show you. I saved some from previous years so I can show you how they look and how they're laid out. These look really, really good once they're created. And I've given you the template that goes along with these. Some are a little bit more complex, but to be honest, the more complex it is, the better looking the overall design that you have. And you can choose between any one of those. As a matter of fact, if you go to the project page on our Moodle page, I'm giving you a link to each of the different choices. So if you choose the easy flip box, one click on this will take you to the boardgames.com page. You can see how this is laid out, and you can actually click and drag and see how this would look on other little details. If you don't like that one, we can go back. Let's see if I can get the tray. So, whoops. Or here's the sleeve tray box. And you can see how this would look and some different images that go along with this as well. The final thing I'm doing to help you get some good inspiration, I've made a Pinterest inspiration board for playing cards. Keep in mind, you're not just designing the cards, you're doing the entire package, the back of the cards, the box, the information sheet. So on this page, I tried to find lots of different directions you can go in. Now keep in mind, a lot of these are your traditional sets, but it still gives you a good sense of style. You get an idea that you can make these into more of a cartoonish kind of thing. How they treated the box, especially all sides of the box that have a design. You can see different inspiration for how you can do the front and back of, there's another box, try to find one that's got the front and back, there we go, of different kinds of cards and how the faces of the cards are designed. So have a look at this page and get some really good ideas. Get inspired and get excited about how they treated each of the different faces and each of the different styles for the designs that we have. Now, throughout these exercises, I'm going to be giving you some techniques that I expect to see you to use. But whatever ideas you have, you can easily apply these techniques in using the software towards the designs that you want to create. Again, this Pinterest page is found on the Moodle page. You may be required to have a Pinterest account in order to view it, but I highly recommend getting that in order to set it up. Okay, so with that done, I think the last thing that I need to show you is the rules for the game. This rule sheet is what you're going to use to lay out the information within your card's design. You can see how it talks about the name of the game, the number of players and the ages, and then the objective and how to deal it out and how to play it. We're going to deal with this last since it's kind of the last thing that goes into the box design that we have. The first thing we're going to focus on is actually designing the cards themselves, specifically the back of the card, and then we're going to talk about how you can add the name of the card to your design and start working through the face of the cards that you're working on. So in the next video, I'll talk a little bit about the layout of these and we'll jump into these first little exercises.